Yeah, Clubhouse, man. That's a crazy animal, huh? Like I haven't really been using it that much, but I see everybody in the mastermind saying how unbelievable it is. Um, it's really just, could we be hypothetically doing Clubhouse right now while we're talking?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I'm going to start doing actually is I'm going to, be simultaneously like doing recording podcasts and streaming it on there. I think right now what you're seeing a lot of people do is kind of doing these like live Q&A panels, doing Q&A of like a bigger moderator crew. And then bringing some people from the audience up to ask questions. And so it's a lot of real-time content. But I think the same way that you're able to like leverage your time and add value in podcasts and focus on like one individual and go deeper with fewer people. I think Clubhouse allows you to go like not as deep with a lot of people who are on moderators or speakers on your panel. And then you can, you could focus on a few mods or do, go deep with one person for 10 minutes and then go deep with the next person for 10. I think that's cool. But yeah, I think you're going to see the formats that have worked really well on podcasts start coming over to Clubhouse in a deeper way because so many people right now, they're trying to be early adopters. There's 2 million at the time of this podcast. Anderson Horowitz just came in for the first big round, being the lead investor, along with 180 other private investors investing $100 million at $1 billion valuation into the platform.
Wow.
And one thing that they're going to be seeing is how do we grow the platform from 2 million active listeners and followers per week to 10, 20, 200. They're still only on iOS. They haven't even launched on Android. And so this is really just the beginning. So if you're listening and you're not on Clubhouse, I would highly encourage you to be an early adopter there. And that's a big thing for me is I never was a first mover, shaker, early adopter on like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, anything. So
Yeah.
I know that I've seen this before and I'm definitely not going to lose out on the opportunity for it now. And then what I found too about Clubhouse is like I've been on for about 10 days and I've gotten 7,000 followers in just 10 days.
Wow. How'd you do that? That's crazy.
Just really, it's about adding value to other moderators and speakers who are in the room. And I have a whole guide on kind of like, hey, here's the road I took to 10,000 followers. Once I get there, then I'm going to roll out for free. But it's really about adding value when you get your shot to the moderators and the speakers and then get them to continue to invite you up to be one of the experts on their panel for the rooms that they open consistently. And then most people in the audience will follow the entire speaker and moderator panel and like adding value. So when you get your shot to speak, like deliver
Makes
value
sense.
because there's always a way higher proportion of people because you also, there's no way to like, comment, share. Once the room ends, it's that content's gone. So a lot of the call to action now is like, you also can't direct message people there. So, but you can connect your Instagram. So a lot of it is like trying to get people to direct message you to either get something else for free or add value to them. So I've had, with the 7,000 people that I've had follow me on Clubhouse at the time of this interview, I've had 1,000 of those people follow me on Instagram and hundreds of them direct message me to either like ask a follow-up question, say how appreciative they were of the value they got, or, I, in some cases, offer them a free asset that I followed up with them when they direct message me. So it's about, again, like I was saying, add value on these new platforms where you have great organic reach as you can, and then try to siphon them onto other audiences where you own that, that audience and that attention there.
How do you become a moderator if you don't have a network of people?
So A, you could start your own room, right? B, I think you could try and like, what I did was I just saw people that I followed and knew that had other rooms who knew me, and they brought me up to either ask a question or be a speaker. And then when I got my shot, I added a bunch of awesome value and kind of over-indexed myself as someone who adds value and has great responses to the audience question. So that way, even though the one person knew me out of the 20 moderators and speakers on the panel, all other 19 people who moderate and have their own rooms at different times and different days, they're like, hey, that guy has fire responses.
Yeah.
So when I came in their rooms, they would bring me up. So it's kind of like, and you also can start your own rooms as a moderator. So if you just have people follow you when you're speaking in other people's rooms, but you then never start your own club and moderate your own rooms, there's no way for you to go like in more detail with your audience. So that's the biggest thing. It's like, try to add value when you can on bigger people's audiences or stages. If it starts with you just asking a question and kind of adding value as you're asking your question, do it. If you can DM someone on Instagram and try to lead with value for them, but then the next time you come in their room, they recognize you, right? And
Yeah.
then they can bring you up. So lead with value is the short answer. But once you build your audience, start showing up more. And the more consistent you are with showing up, the more these moderators and speakers will recognize you and bring you up. So when you get your shot, shoot your shot and add value so people remember you, right? You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So take advantage of that first impression. But then once you start growing your audience, do like moderate your own rooms and invite other speakers that do these other rooms to come into yours and leverage your audience on other platforms, right? So if you have an email list, messenger list, other social following, you can share the link to rooms you're going to start in advance to promote that room to get people to come on and follow you there, right? So I think those are the two ways I would really do it. But you'll always see the top moderators and speakers who are the ones like leading the room, asking the questions to the other mods and speakers. They'll always get a disproportionate amount of followers compared to everyone else. So like the one or two mods who are leading the Q&A, leading the room, talking pretty much a lot, they get pretty much everyone that comes in and out of the room to follow them. And then the rest of the mods and speakers will get people to follow who's following everyone, but they'll only get people to follow them at scale when they talk and give value.
Yeah. Sounds like it's just like the same concept, different format for like when people are doing those summits and getting everybody together and just kind of letting them mail to each of their platforms and scrolling all this value together. And
Absolutely.
the person that sets it up,
I think
gets all the followers.
I think the model is not new because it's been done with like teleconferences and virtual summits before, just like you said. But the ability, like the timing, right? Timing's everything. The timing and like the addictiveness of it and like the access. So randomly, I'll go into a room with some people that are awesome, not know it's going to be something big or crazy. 30 minutes later, you have Grant Cardone, Damon John, Ty Lopez, Lewis Howes in there, and you're like, what just happened? Right. So there's not a lot of big, and I'm speaking just in entrepreneurship space because that's the space that I play. There's not a lot of like big people doing a lot of like there's less competition, I would say, for these bigger rooms. So if you go in there and you start creating content and you kind of start, that's the other thing too, is there'll be people who in there who have like 30, 40,000 followers where it's like relatively to everyone else right now at the time of this interview, that's a lot, but they'll have rooms where it's like only 50 or 100 people. So and then there's people who like started a room, but there's a great kind of clickbait headline that has a lot of other value and good speakers in there with people who had 100 or 500 or 1,000 followers who started the room, but it kind of, a bunch of people started joining and then people stayed. And the more people that stay, the longer the room goes on. And the more people that join that continue to stay, the bigger the room gets, right? So there's been people that have a lot of followers that have small rooms. And there's been people that have small followers that have really big rooms because the room kind of went viral. So it's less about the numbers on this platform, which I think is really cool, than other platforms, right? Where it's kind of like you have to get big to actually accumulate a large audience there, like have a video that goes viral on TikTok or something like that. So definitely it's the space I'd recommend everyone to try and over-index their time in now.